Welcome to Texas Basketball on Longhorn Network, presented by Bud Light, the Moody Center in the capital city of Austin, Texas. Another premier matchup in the nation's premier conference. 6 teams in the latest top 25, including the 10th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Welcome in the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Cowboys sport a 3-4 record in Big 12 play. Texas currently 5-2 in Big 12 play, tied for second in the Big 12. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Tyler Denning, Lance Blanks. No secret, this is the premier conference in the country this year. That means premier players, and these two teams led by their big dogs. We start with Texas's Marcus Carr.
Yeah, we start at the top of the food chain. Marcus Carr has been absolutely exceptional, particularly on the offensive end of the floor, Tyler. And I love this video because it really does truly show you what this guy has done thus far this season. He scores at every level in the mid-range, as you see there, does it very well around the basket, and then he also does it at key moments of the game. He has become the quintessential offensive juggernaut for the Texas Longhorns.
4th in the Big 12 in points per game. So consistent he is. Oklahoma State coming off their best win of the season against Iowa State. Avery Anderson III, he powers their attack.
Well, Oklahoma State was trying to slow him down because he is a road runner on the floor, and they have accomplished that. He's passing the ball, also like Carr, scoring at every level, and also helping his teams get victories. He got a huge one, or helped lead them in a huge one against a very dangerous Iowa State ball club. He will come in tonight trying to get it done against Texas, especially considering their struggles on the offensive end in Stillwater when they played the Longhorns earlier this season.
Reigning Big 12 player of the week, 14 points against Oklahoma, 18 against Iowa State. Lance, this is a story, strength on strength. Texas offense, Oklahoma State defense.
Well, Texas would argue with that a little bit because they like to play a little bit of defense as well. But certainly not many teams can get it done on the defensive end like Oklahoma State, particularly Tyler, with their shot blockers. They have shot blockers all over the place. Also, there's been an emergence of Mr. Boone up front, who has been a big key for Oklahoma State with their recent success.
Talked offense for Marcus Carr. Starts in a passing lane with the deflection out of bounds off Texas. Ball will stay on the Oklahoma State side. These two teams getting together for the second time of the season. Longhorns won the first one 56-46 in Stillwater, so just 17 days apart. Face off again. Jumper is off. Offensive rebound. That's one of the things this team does great. They're rebounding. They lead the Big 12, but out of bounds off of Woody Newton.
They're very stingy when it comes to the offensive and defensive boards, obviously. Up front, Texas will have to keep an eye out because they won't be looking to give up a lot of easy baskets around the rim.
Carr to Dessou, working underneath. Those two, along with Allen, Hunter, and Mitchell, the starting 5 for Texas. Avery Anderson III, aforementioned. Bryce Thompson, John Michael Wright, Woody Newton, who has started now his 3rd consecutive game, and Caleb Boone, the 5, starting for the Cowboys.
They really like Newton. He's been a little bit of the key for them.
Thompson pushing on Carr, offensive foul.
That was just great position defense by Carr, and he sold that a little bit, but I think Thompson did. You see both hands in the chest. That's called reading the scouting report and knowing where people are going to be and what they're going to be doing, Tyler.
Tyrese Hunter, sophomore transfer from Iowa State. Got the ball up, first possession for Timmy Allen. Carr works through the defense, raises iron. Dessou, the rebound and the points. Cowboys back quick the other way. Back cut for Anderson III, who loses it up and under, in the flush with the finish for Caleb Boone.
Well, Boone has been major for Oklahoma State. They really struggled with him last year in his inconsistencies, but he's had a stretch here of late, particularly in the conference. He's been really good, Tyler, especially around the basket.
You Rebound off the miss from Dessou. Thompson, the ball handler. Good find, good finish. Boone once again. 4 players on this Oklahoma State team listed at 6'9". Boone, one of them. Dessou from 3.
This is well done by Thompson. Then on the backside, you've got a Small coming across to help. He's always going to lose that battle when you're talking about 6'9", 10 versus 6 foot, 5'11".
Bounce to Carr, who works off the dribble. Put back there. First time calling Dylan Mitchell's name, freshman, 6'8" from Tampa, Florida.
Well, Mitchell had 12 rebounds. He was very active on the boards the last time these two teams played. That's where he has to help this Texas ball club.
See the physicality early on. Bodies to the floor, fighting for every ball. Texas 2-on-2 the other way. Hunter. Mitchell there again, the finish.
Well, 2 plays on both ends by Mitchell. The first one, he contested the potential layup by Boone and then got back all the way under the basket and finished. That's where he can be very good for Texas with his energy and length. Here you see it again defensively, Tyler.
.6-4 advantage for Texas. This game has some tempo.
It does. It also has Wright being a little overzealous, taking some challenging shots.
Texas head coach Rodney Terry, 9-2 as the interim head coach. Has his team in a really good position here in the heart of conference play. Mike Boynton Jr., his counterpart, 6th season at Oklahoma State, 98 wins, 81 losses, 21 wins versus ranked opponents, 11 versus top 10 squads. It's his team coming off their 2 best wins. Oklahoma, Iowa State was a 61-59 victory against number 12 Iowa State. Good physical finish for Bryce Thompson.
Thompson is the other guy on the perimeter other than Anderson, who they really have to rely on to generate offense. And you couple those 2 with Boone and then Newton stretching the floor, just turned into a pretty efficient offensive team, Oklahoma State.
Texas with the shot clock under 10. Carr to Dessou, that ball stripped. Shot clock dwindling, ball tied up, jump ball. Possession arrow to Texas, .2 on the shot clock. 6-6 ball game. Teams going quick. A lot of energy for this Big 12 matchup early on. 6-6 ball game early on, 15:53 left in the first half. Take you back to January 7th. A lot of eyes were on this game because the game prior, Lance, was when Texas gave up 116 in this building to Kansas State, but then they turn around, they crank up the defense in the win.
Well, they played extreme, suffocating defense. Here you see with the reaches, and you know what happened in practices. And just talking to the staff, they amped it up, not only with their preparation and discussion, but also in their practice. I mean, they went back old school, as they called it, and they carried that over into this game. The other part of that storyline, Tyler, is Oklahoma State knows that. They know that, as we talked about with them today, they know that Texas gave up the 116 points, and they thought that they were in part victims of that in the way that Texas showed up against them in Stillwater. So it'll be interesting to see if Texas can sustain that kind of defense tonight.
Tough possession for Texas as the .2 just left on the shot clock with the possession arrow after the tie-up.
And I'm sorry, pal, I talked right over
That's okay.
the shot clock violation because I want to talk about that defense. But yeah, they really want to see they can carry that defense over into tonight. Texas does.
One substitution for Oklahoma State. Number 23, Tyreek Smith out there as the whistle blown. Allen falling to the floor. This one lands so interesting as well in the round-robin format in the Big 12 when you play every team twice by virtue of the schedule where Texas is at. This is the first team that they will see for the second time. So in a conference that's so good this year, been well chronicled, all about adjustments to that second meeting.
And it makes it extra hard. And a lot of people talk about this conference, Tyler, as you've been pointing out, and they talk about it's hard, it's difficult, it's the best conference. And the reason for that is in the second half or the bottom half of the conference, those games are difficult too, as well. So the best team getting quote unquote upset by the 8th or 9th or the 6th team, it's really not upset because all these games are extremely tough. Just go ask anyone who's had to play West Virginia or Texas Tech. Those games often come into the late moments before a champion of the game, if you will, or a winner of the game is decided.
Allen, 64% free throw shooter on the year, makes the first, misses the second. To your point, Big 12, their net ranking, lowest average, 27.7 amongst all leagues. The next closest, 55.1. Shot clock at 4, kick out. Not well off. So a shot clock violation. Caleb Asbury was the one shooting. Texas with that defense, Lance.
Well, Asbury, that's what he does, but he was under a lot of duress with the late clock situation. But Texas's defense, look at the rotations there. Great job at the end of that possession by Allen, recognizing they were in a late clock situation. He literally over-closed out, knowing that he had the benefit of the clock.
Christian Bishop and Brock Cunningham on the floor, along with Sir'Jabari Rice for Texas. Bishop works physical inside, finishes with the left.
Well, Williams a little small on Bishop and taking advantage of the size advantage. The question you have to ask OSU, are you going to double? Does Texas go back to that matchup?
Thompson from deep. No points over the last 2 minutes and more for Oklahoma State as the foul on the floor.
You have this kind of size difference. This is just too long, Tyler. Look, he's got that ball. Help from Smith comes over a little bit late when he's right at the front of the basket. Does Texas go back to that potential opportunity mismatch?
Carr wide open from 3, buries it. Coach Terry was so high in his praise of Carr and his leadership, his efficiency as a scorer this year. One of the best in the country, one of the best in the Big 12 with his 17.4 points per game. Allen collects the miss.
Or you can get guys like Williams having to shoot for OSU the better. Last game, only 1 attempt.
Bishop up and under. Timeout, Oklahoma State.
Great recognition by Texas going back and just a little soft. Boom, but you got Carr, hand up, too late. No one's gonna come. I'll just take you and put you in the basket. Texas on the roll.
The world, Moody Center, Austin, Texas, beautiful facility, rocking. They sold it out. All of these contests, Texas 11-1 at home over the course of the season, 2-1 in Big 12 contests. Lance, 8-0 run for Texas over the last 2 minutes, 12-2 run over the last 4 minutes. Oklahoma State, 0 of their last 4 field goal attempts, 1 of their last 7.
Oklahoma State only 30% from the floor.
It's another miss. Good hands from Cunningham to strip the ball, but steps out of bounds. So the ball will stay on this side. And when we talked with Coach Terry, he had said area for improvement for this team starting fast. Has to be happy with the fast start thus far tonight.
And also has to be happy with Williams taking the bulk of their shots of late. He hasn't given Oklahoma State a ton of offense. only scoring twice in the last 4 games. Last game in the Iowa State victory at 0 points. I mention him because he's getting a lot of looks at the basket.
Officials sorting something out on the floor, haven't gotten word yet. Doug Sermons, Tony Padilla, Bert Smith, the officiating trio for the evening. The shot clock issue. It's at 16 seconds. So Oklahoma State tries to snap this scoring drought. Long pass intercepted by Cunningham. Loses his dribble, but finds Carr.
More great defense by Texas. The hard hedge and double.
Foul is on the floor, getting connected. Another body to the floor. It was Christian Bishop. First foul on Caleb Boone.
Well, that foul is a response to the last offensive possession around the basket as Bishop laughs. He's laughing because he sold the officials on the push. But I thought Boone was extremely soft in the last possession. You've got to use your lower body and legs and get down. You got to sit down. Some bigs are too straight up and down.
Carr, 3 again.
This can get ugly if you allow Carr to get going early. Got to guard him beyond the arc. The basket just gets bigger for this young man. He's as confident as he's been since coming to the 40 acres here in Austin.
Foul is on the floor. Arterio Morris just checked in for Texas. Here's the 3 from Carr.
It's just a little simple play, very similar to the last action they ran from out of bounds. Throw it and then go get it behind the arc. You've got to stay attached to Carr, especially the way he's been performing of late.
Carr was huge in Texas's last game, that 69-61 victory at West Virginia. Really caught fire in the second half. From deep, that one does go. John Michael Wright began his career at High Point from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Really high on the transfer. Bishop working up and under again, misses. Woody Newton collects.
Well, it's a lot different when Bishop has to work from that far from the basket.
Another 3, this one off, Bishop. Oklahoma State 1 for 5, 4 of 13 from the field. Big reason why Texas up 17-9. 11:43 left in the first half here in Austin.
Longhorn Network is presented by Bud Light. It's for the fans. And in part by St. David's Healthcare. The best is here.
Story on the glass thus far tonight between these two teams. Oklahoma State came in. They led the Big 12 in rebounds per game at 37. But right now, Lance, Texas controlling the glass.
Well, it's about adjustments, and Texas does not want to get beat up front, if you will, the way they did last outing. So far, Texas is doing a great job, as you mentioned, on the boards and protecting the perimeter. Only 1 for 5 from beyond the arc, which is a point of emphasis for Texas, with Oklahoma State not shooting great thus far tonight.
Allen found Dessou for the soft float. There's another 3. That one straight through from deep. Chris Harris Jr., 6'2" senior from Dallas, Texas. Allen, Dessou, Morris, Hunter, Mitchell, the 5 on the floor for Texas.
Unable to exploit the mismatch there with Dessou.
Shot clock at 6. Allen, tough pull up. Feed inside from Anderson the third. Texas there defensively. Allen back the other way.
Well, these are mismatches. Both teams, when they switch, you see both teams doing so. Perimeter guys have got to find where the hole is in the defense to get the easy basket on the mismatch.
Morris draws the double. Great find for Mitchell, who will shoot free throws.
If the ball's in the right people's or person's hands, Tyler, you got to take your time, see the whole floor, put yourself in a position to receive the ball where you can score. The end of that last possession with Morris, there's a good example of Mitchell making himself available around the basket. He's just got to be a little stronger, which he's capable of doing. This guy here is as athletic as anyone in the building.
6.5 points per game, 48% free throw shooter on the season. Misses the first, makes the second. See the shooting comparison. Oklahoma State missed 6 of their last 8. Texas, the inverse, they have made 6 of their last 8. Reason why Texas is up 20-12, about halfway through this first half. Second meeting this season, 104th meeting all time between these two. Texas leading the series 56-47. Longhorns have won 15 of the last 18 in Austin for a series that dates back to 1918. Deep three, this one tipped by Allen. Collected by Wright, shot clock under 10. Can't finish on the turnaround. Second chance opportunity for Tyreke Smith himself. He'll shoot free throws.
Smith had an easy finish, but Texas doing a good job of just collapsing. And then, of course, the closeout right there you see with Allen. Took himself out. I think that's what created the easier, if you will, opportunities around the basket.
Junior Tyreke Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, began his career at Texas Tech. Carr will come back in along with Bishop.
We talked today with Coach Terry about his bench, and he's extremely pleased. Guys accepting their roles. And so far, Texas is one of the better bench teams in the conference.
The best, in fact, points per game, 27.9, 24th amongst the 300-plus teams in the NCAA. Is Bishop a big part of that bench? Ball was not off him, stays on this side, 16 seconds to shoot.
And they're only up. The bench is 1.4-3 thus far, which is fairly rare. Part of that also is Rice. He's been exceptional off the bench for Texas. Really more of a starter.
Carr with Anderson the third all over him. Shot clock under 10. Allen pulls up.
Allen is so much better when he can find his spots. Early in the season, he was forcing things, but when he lets the game come to him, he's really a solid offensive player. Just one dribble. Any player of his age and experience and talent level in this conference should be able to take that dribble and knock that shot down.
Foul was down low on Christian Bishop, his first, who goes straight up to contest. Good finish on the fly for Harris Jr.
What a great shot. Bishop went vertical, taking the contact. Good no call as well.
Both these teams quick, trying to break off the make as Texas into their offense. Hunter from 3. Rebound for Newton.
That's the next level for Texas, is getting Hunter going offensively consistently. He has really struggled since the early part of the season and able to make shots.
Other side, can Oklahoma State get Avery Anderson the third going? No points thus far for the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. As the finish from John Michael Wright on the tape.
Well, Wright and Harris Jr. so far holding it down. Here is Oklahoma State ends up with the ball and the moving screen.
Second foul on Christian Bishop, who will sit down. Dylan Dessou back in. Brock Cunningham will get up to come in for Mitchell. Cowboys have got back into this one, trimmed it to 4 points, the deficit.
Part of the reason is we've done a good job of not allowing Texas to either string together too many stops in a row.
That ball trickles off the rim. Cunningham coming up with it. Beautiful find from Hunter. Dessou waits on the flyby, finishes on the second chance.
The other part of that is too many offensive runs, Tyler. Texas typically will get a big run. Oklahoma State has kept them quiet in that area.
Anderson finds Boone for the finish.
Well, that's the next level for Anderson there. He is so fast. You've got to space him. And when I say next level, him distributing the ball, he's going to have it in his hands a lot, but he helps his team so much, and he can get going downhill and find his bigs around the basket.
Cowboys into his zone, and Cunningham takes advantage with the made three.
That's that consistent piece that Cunningham has added to his game this season, where he's making shots from beyond the arc.
39% from deep is Brock Cunningham. Is off on the other side is Harris Jr. Timeout on the floor. Brock Cunningham, he's added that piece, almost 40% from deep. Makes one to go up 27-20. Texas with 6:57 left in the first half. Stoppage was for Keon Williams, who you see there, number 13, the freshman from Jonesboro, Arkansas, for Oklahoma State. He's taking some contact up high, so wanted to get him looked at.
Whoa, yeah, I mean, the elbow squarely hit him right in the nose.
It was Sir'Jabari Rice that was coming over. Obviously no ill intent on that play from Rice.
And that hurt to look at.
He was alternating the gauze from right nostril to left nostril.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in the eyes there. Red and watery, as are mine.
6:57 left in the first half. Tyler Denning, Lance Blanks, Moody Center here in Austin, Texas. 10th ranked Texas Longhorns tied for second in the Big 12, 5-2 record against these Oklahoma State Cowboys, who are coming off their two best Quadrant 1 wins. Oklahoma State currently a team first 4 out as the shot clock under 4. Carr fades away.
And Oklahoma State, up into that point, had trouble 4 times trying to beat ranked teams. That last victory against Iowa State, they just can give you newfound confidence.
There's confidence right there. Caleb Boone, he goes to the rack with authority.
Well, it's because you got Smalls on the backside for Texas, and we saw it earlier in the half. Oklahoma State can probably get a lot of that good action out of that.
Dessou makes the pull-up jumper.
Here they'll go to it. You see, Avery, I thought, and that's an example of where Oklahoma State is working with him, Tyler. They're trying to get him, as they put it, not necessarily to slow down, but make good decisions. You saw Boone literally calling for the same action to force Texas to adjust.
Foul was on Marcus Carr, his first.
Anderson went ahead. Here they're going back to it.
Anderson on Hunter. Lines up the corner 3, looking like you did earlier today. Buried from the corner, Woody Newton.
Well, and with Newton, he's a stretch 4. So basically, they almost offensively have 4 smalls and a big. That's the way you got to think of Newton, and he's good enough to knock shots down from that distance, shooting about 35% from beyond the arc.
Newton's brought a different element. Mitchin interjected into the starting lineup for the last 2 games that have been their 2 biggest wins. Shot clock did reset. Cunningham. Soft roll.
Well, that's a home touch. I mean, that ball was extremely short. And he put it up on the rim, and it just crawled right off the rim into the basket.
Anderson, the third off from 3 as Rice brings it up for Texas. Carr through, and the finish opportunity for 3 the hard way.
Well, I mentioned that 4 smalls and a big, but not on this end of the floor, the defensive end. Carr recognizing, really, now he turns into a big. That being Newton, unable to stay in front of him. Gets the 2 dribbles and the finish. Watch this. Actually, the 1 dribble and the finish. He's just in a flow, a zone, a rhythm. Very hard to stop Marcus Carr right now on the offensive end of the floor.
Misses the free throw. Second foul on Caleb Boone. Quick back the other way. The dunk finish for Asbury.
Well, Dessou fell asleep at the wheel. He was just kind of lagging down the court. Ball went right by his head, and Asbury took advantage. Texas going to sleep.
Rice from 3. How about rebounds?
Oklahoma State wanting to pick up the pace and play fast. Look at that.
Bryce Thompson makes the 3, and this is not a team in Oklahoma State that traditionally does that. 200th in the country in adjusted tempo, but Dessou falls asleep, that 2, and then this 3.
Well, this is their 1-2 punch. Did he throw ahead? Look at that, right by the head of Dessou. That's how you're supposed to do that. And then Anderson checking the temperature. Thompson splash from the spot we were hanging out earlier today.
At UT, his
latest projections, obviously a long way to go, but from the bracket bunker, Kansas, potentially a 1 seed, although they are struggling. Baylor, probably as hot as any team in the country, but right now, Longhorns projected as a 3 seed. Oklahoma State, part of the first 4 out, but a win here would be huge for Oklahoma State. But I love how Coach Terry put it to us. He had talked about January being in the midst of the weeds, but as you move into February and where we get, you're starting to put that resume together, and it's when teams start to distance themselves from one another.
And a lot of people in the industry sometimes consider January the dog days of the season. You're just kind of sludging through, trying to get to the next game healthy and whole, and dealing with weather issues and the challenges of playing on the road and otherwise.
Coach Terry had said time for separation. That's what Texas has had, an 11-point lead, but Oklahoma State, 4 of their last 5 field goals made. Texas up by 3. A foul on the floor. Dessou getting a little too physical, called for the offensive.
Well, he got caught hooking Asbury. He fell out and fell.
Second for Dessou. 17 fouls, on Texas. 18 fouls on Oklahoma State. Goes back the other way. Carr going to the floor. It was Bryce Thompson. He was out there, but the foul on Asbury, his second.
Well, that's the second time Carr has put himself in a position to force Oklahoma State to offensive foul.
Allen loses it on the entry, but Texas will keep the ball as Newton possessed it out of bounds, so it stays.
But just a little careless by both guys. I thought Allen should have looked the ball into his hands, and the pass could have been a little bit better by Mitchell.
A lot of contact as Texas trying to fight through off the hands of Mitchell, but Carr takes it back. He'll shoot free throws. This thing's gotten scrappy.
Well, and it's also gotten slippery. No one can hold the ball. I thought it was a very clever play of Carr. He created that contact himself, and he knew he had the advantage as the offensive player, Tyler. I think it's a smart play because it settles things down and allows him to get some free throws and get some points on the board. And the team a little disjointed in their last 2 possessions.
9th point of the evening for Carr. Made a couple stops, began his career at Pitt, then Minnesota really got on the map there as a scorer, then over to Texas, decided to come back for another year, and his maturity has really showed and will be a huge part for whatever Texas does throughout the remainder of this season.
Yeah, it's almost broken up into 3 segments. Obviously, the first one being when he first got here, you saw the 11-point floor. Didn't score a ton. And then, of course, the early part of this season, you saw some comfort with Carr when he first started with Hunter. I think Hunter took a lot of pressure off of him. And then, of course, the coaching change situation with Coach Terry, he's even taking it to another level. He's averaging close to or almost 20 points since that time.
Foul was on Tyrese Hunter, his first. Cowboys are in the bonus. So Tyreek Smith will go to the line. Makes the first. Foul situation for both teams may play into this one. Texas, Allen, Mitchell, and Cunningham, all with 2 fouls each, with 3.5 minutes left in this first half. 3-point ball game. 10th ranked Texas Longhorns looking for their 2nd win over Oklahoma State on the season. Oklahoma State looking to make it a trio of wins, their 3 best of the year. Shot clock at 10 for Allen. Has to turn around, tough shot. Mitchell trying to fight for it, ends up in the hands of Carr.
Good activity there by Mitchell, keeping that ball alive. That's what Texas needs from this young man. Doesn't score a lot on his own accord, so they need him to do some of the little things.
Find underneath, rejected. Something that Oklahoma State does as good as any team in the country. The block on the other end. Miss as Cunningham gets the rebound. A huge defensive play and opportunity that Oklahoma State can't capitalize on. Mitchell, strip, numbers the other way.
Outside of his envelope, that's not who he is.
Newton from 3. Offensive rebound. Cowboys will reset, 15 on the shot clock. Thompson gets the corner, can't make the jumper. Carr gets the defender off of him and nails the pull-up.
Oklahoma State has picked the pace up, but I think it plays into Texas's hands, particularly because of that young man on your screen, Carr. Whenever he's got space and can make plays, he's as good as any.
Whistle called with Thompson on the drive.
It looks like a war zone. I mean, you've got bodies laying
all over.
Smith, who is the enforcer for Oklahoma State. He's laying on the floor with teammates around him.
Allen got caught up high there.
That collision with
Smith
Allen
setting the screen, and then Smith went down, and he's the one being helped off the floor, hobbling. It's Tyreek Smith. Man, it's just watching this screen setting in this game. So physical.
Boy, and he is the key for this team, particularly when they're playing with 4 smalls and they're giving Boone a break.
First foul for Cunningham. Review may be coming from the officiating crew, so correct myself. I had said 2 on Cunningham earlier, but that just is first. What'd you see?
I saw from my angle, it looked like there was a lower extremity collision of some sort between those 2 guys. I don't want to speculate in here, but it's like they collided.
So the foul was on Cunningham, but it looked like the contact may have been up top on Allen.
Yeah.
As Smith was setting the screen, that's what I saw.
Yeah, from the two bigs, it was. You see Allen there.
That shoulder up onto the chin of Timmy Allen.
Yeah, but I saw down low. Look down low by the knees. You see the knees
right knee
literally collided.
Right knee of Allen
right
into the
knee
left
and
knee.
left knee.
Smith.
And you see it buckle.
No flagrant, regular foul. Lance, though, Oklahoma State, it really feels like they've picked up their defense.
They've picked up actually both ends of the floor. They have picked up their defense, but they've also picked up their offense through the pace. And we saw that 5 or 6 minutes ago, of course, with the throw ahead, with Asbury finishing, and then Avery pushing the ball. But now the question is, and I've been talking about it all game, about the 4 smalls and the big. Essentially now, Oklahoma State is playing with 5 smalls. Newton.
And then Newton as your
He has
stretch.
the size, but offensively, you have to treat him like a guard because he likes to space and face the basket as well as shoot from beyond the arc.
Thompson, 59% free throw shooter, missed the first, misses the second as well. Free throws for Oklahoma State, 4 for 6 on the evening. Rice trying to use that head fake, show you some of that.
Well,
and halftime called for the travel.
Well, and Williams did a great job defensively there of staying down. He used the fake twice. And here you'll see it again. Watch him show the ball. Williams stays down and just holds his position. That is excellent defense. That's a take that should float around the conference in terms of how to guard Jabari Rice.
That's knowing your scout right there. We talked with both coaches about that. Texas hounding, finding the wide open shooter, closing out. It's Cunningham. It's the second time we've seen that from Cunningham on a three-pointer, closing out to the block.
Well, the closeouts, they're almost over closeouts because those guys are taking themselves out of the play. You see it here defensively. Look, he was guarding the ball, then he goes and follows the ball. It's a great block.
Allen got the steal off the inbound.
You can get a 2 for 1 if you shoot here early if you're Texas.
Are looking at the shot clock. Rice from 3. Allen hobbling a little bit. Looked like on that right leg as he came back up the court to set defensively. Shot clock is off.
Well, it's just great patience by Texas.
Right into the heart of the Texas defense. Longhorns have time to get a shot. Cunningham from half court. Another great one in the Big 12. 10th ranked Texas Longhorns tied for second in the conference. 40 points they score. Oklahoma State 32. Boone pacing the Cowboys with his 8. Marcus Carr, the leader for Texas, with 12. This one cooking up to be a good one. Second meeting of the season between the two. Longhorns leading by 8 as they head to the locker rooms. Welcome back to the Moody Center, Austin, Texas. 10th ranked Longhorns 40 to Oklahoma State's 32. 8-point advantage start of the second half about to come your way. Tyler Denning, Lance Blanks. This one, another episode in the great Big 12. Best conference in the country. 6 teams in the latest top 25. We showed you bracket projections. Texas, they have dreams of a 2 seed, maybe a 1 seed. Bigger things. Oklahoma State trying to improve on that resume. What'd you see in the first half?
Well, Coach Terry talked about cutting nets down. What I saw is teams was trying to play a little bit faster than I would have thought in a game like tonight. And we saw Mr. Boone for Oklahoma State score early in the first half. We especially saw him finish around the basket. He has become Mr. Consistent up front for Oklahoma State, but he got a little foul trouble. I thought that kind of helped them because they played a little faster. But how about Dessou? Mr. Dessou leading the game in rebounds and also offering something up front to go with the balance of what Carr gives them, meaning Texas, on the perimeter. You see the little push shot there. But really, in my mind, Tyler, the man of the hour is Mr. Carr. He's just so comfortable right now. A lot of times he gets things going late, got it going early this evening, especially having the space to get shots up. What adjustments is Oklahoma State going to make to kind of cool him off? Because usually things get better for Mr. Carr in the second half.
You'd say he's in the driver's seat, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you are smooth.
I'm listening to you, my man.
Yeah, he is, and you see it right there with the levels of scoring. I guess the one takeaway is everything that's happening is happening on the right side of the floor.
So if you're Oklahoma State, force him left.
That's exactly right. You got to get him on the left side.
Texas, though, big reason they're at the advantage, I would wager, with Oklahoma State being the leading rebounding team in the Big 12, a +8 rebounding margin. And the good news for Texas as well, Marcus Carr has really pushed things in the second half. So backdoor cut, it's Carr there defensively with the steal.
Boone was a little programmed on that. That's a read. If he's open, you can get it there. But Carr studied the scouting report and comes up with the steal. Very good defensively, quietly, Carr.
Allen, chance for a three-point play.
Using the size and length and a little chicken wing out there. Plays through the contact. Allen does. It's the nice finish. And you're talking about 6'7", 6'1". Supposed to win that battle every time.
Also for Oklahoma State, Avery Anderson III, reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, coming off multiple double-digit performances, held scoreless as Carr, locked in defensively, finishes on the other end. Texas now leading by 13.
Well, that was a very efficient finish for Carr there. Never put the ball in his left hand. Just took it right up.
Wide open corner three on the other side for John Michael Wright.
It's a good, clean look for Wright, but he's got the double team and the takeaway. Watch him keep it in his right hand. And that just allows him to get the ball up quickly. You saw the defender coming from behind him. He negated any opportunity to get a block there.
It was Dessou that forced the turnover. Carr, the benefactor, the flyby for Dessou. That always scary. It was Newton going over the top as Dessou was down low.
Yeah, and that kind of action is very difficult to guard because it's two bigs in a pick and roll situation against two other bigs in Newton and Boone. Very hard to make adjustments, and then you're going to have smalls on the backside, so it's easy for the big who catches to finish around the rim.
Second foul on Woody Newton. Shot clock at 12 is Carr. Worked the two-man game with Dessou. Off the dribble. That from the left side, so it's not just right side offense for Carr.
No, that's really unguardable. When you shoot that step back going left, and no, he's just going to start working on the left side on the shooting chart for Carr.
Can Anderson get going? Miss there. Nice job to keep the ball inbounds in play. Right from three. Oklahoma State 5 of 15 from deep. Dessou pull up. Tip out, back to him.
Great job by Mitchell. He has really made himself active in this game, what he has to do. A lot of times, those kind of plays do not show up in a box score, but they are critical to help get a team victories. This young man is a ball of energy for Texas.
Averages just under 5 rebounds per game, 6.5 points per game is the second foul on Bryce Thompson.
Mitchell, he epitomized his role acceptance. He really buys into Coach Terry and the staff does for this ball club, or want him to do for this ball club.
Allen trying to work his man down, fade away is short. Rebound to Newton.
And just that little bit is a lot different when you're backing down 6-7 instead of 6-1.
Anderson the third finally into the scoring column. Five for the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. Carr loses his footing, 2-on-1 the other way. Give to Anderson, who loses the ball as well. Collects it back to kiss it off the glass.
On that last offensive possession for Carr, he had opportunity. The lane was too clogged. Dessou has got to get out of there and give space so Carr can create.
Dessou trying to create for himself. Gets stonewalled, very tough shot, but a foul on Caleb Boone.
Well, Boone's got to stay vertical there. Right, nice steal. Tragic. I thought there, Hunter was maybe going to foul and put him on the line, not give up the easy finish. Balls are slippery tonight or something.
That looked like me in our games of horse when you would go to the layup.
Yeah, I mean, seems like I've seen that happen 5-6 times tonight where the ball just, I don't know what you call that, but literally just flies out of their hand like there's oil all over it.
Just for the record, folks, Lance 3-0 in our games of horse earlier today between shoot-arounds.
And that's the second time I've shot in 10 years.
It's the second time
and the one
I've
before
shot.
that was with you.
In a year with you as well.
Must be in your head or
something.
something.
Just the former pro basketball player.
Former.
How many countries have you played pro basketball in?
A lot.
10-point ball game now, 49-39. Line from Anderson, great block by Dessou. Ties the ball up top defensively. Dylan Dessou there.
Really makes things difficult when you have length and or bigs on the backside, on the roll, and then the help by Dessou. What an incredible play. One of the top shot blockers in the league. That's the piece that he gives this Texas ball club. It's a level of rim protection.
Mitchell turnaround. Dessou gets the rebound, fighting for it. Mitchell trying to go for the putback. Ball was in the cylinder. Would have looked good.
You see Coach Terry clapping there. You want to reward effort. That was effort by both guys. One, Dessou. I didn't think Mitchell necessarily had to grab the rim. Take that back. I guess he grabbed it to keep from falling, but literally jumped over the defender.
Good find on the cut. John Michael Wright, recipient of the pass. 10 points now for the High Point transfer.
Michael Wright, he's been great about just keeping Oklahoma State within striking distance.
Rice takes the space from the screen, but is off. Cool story on John Michael Wright, the SID had told us. Oklahoma State had been his team back in the old NCAA video games. Thought about transferring, and Oklahoma State had expressed interest, and he said, absolutely, that's my squad. His squad right now. Deficit at 8, 15-24 left in the second half. Longhorns 2022 NCAA volleyball champions. The road started in Gregory Gymnasium, ended in Omaha. The national title match. Watch their journey in the new documentary We Are Texas, the 2022 National Championship coming in February to LHN and the ESPN app. And the team was in the house. Asia O'Neal hoisting the trophy as she did in Omaha. Texas Longhorns victorious, second national title for Jarrett Elliott and this group. Arguably, a case could be made. You have swimming and diving, you have track and field, but the best athletic program on campus here in Austin, Lance?
Is that a question?
It is a question.
What is the best?
It's a question.
The women volleyball team win. That's all they do is win, win, win. And no one can argue on how successful they've been of late. I saw them and stayed up watching and was cheering in my living room.
Make sure you check out that documentary, We Are Texas 2022 National Championship coming in February. 8-point game. Texas with their national championship aspiration. Coach Terry talked about that, cutting down the nets as Hunter called for a travel. Quiet night for Tyrese Hunter thus far.
Yeah, he's struggling a bit, but he had a mismatch and had Smith on him. But he went to the left side of the floor, which was where all the help was. I thought the opportunity might have been to pull it out a little more, get a little more space, try to get into the paint.
Hunter's second leading scorer on this team, 10.6 points per game, currently scoreless. Corner three. Bishop had the ball, contact coming in, trying to swipe it. Foul will be on John Michael Wright. It was a good find, good look from the corner, just couldn't get it to drop.
Well, that's exactly what you would want and who you would want taking the shot. Asbury with the baseline drive. Obviously, you want to drift to the corner or have a guy there. But you mentioned Michael Wright. He's got 10 shots in this game. The most he's taken all season is 15 against Kansas. I think the more shots he gets, the fewer.
Jabari Rice did not hesitate to pull the trigger there.
Get him going, but the fewer Anderson gets, and I think you want Anderson involved in their scoring if they're going to find their way back into this game.
Arteria Morris on to defend Anderson. Tough matchup there. Goes in the way of Anderson III.
Yeah, that was an isolation, just a difficult shot to stop by Morris. It's just good defense, just better offense by the active and fast Anderson. Texas with great spacing to that floor, how open it is.
Mitchell lowered the shoulder just a little too much.
I said it earlier, that's just not who Mitchell is. He likes to play off of people. He's a little parasitic. We can catch over the top, around the rim. Here, look at the spacing. There's really nothing there. This is a straight line driver, dunker, catch, dunk, run the floor.
Not necessarily
lob,
a creator.
Rebound, no. And there was really nothing there, even if he had gotten to where he was trying to go, which only he knows the answer to that.
Foul on Bishop, a little too aggressive, trying to fight for the ball.
And a silly foul as well.
Third on Christian Bishop, who will head to the bench. Dylan Dessou will come in. Big possession here for Oklahoma State. Figure if they can get a made three, made bucket. Momentum pulling to their side, trying to get back in. Plenty of time left. Thompson for three.
That was a design play, and that was a great look back over the top.
Lead down to 6. Cunningham, great find for Dessou, finishes with the left. Thompson, that same spot, thought about it. For Jabari Rice in the passing lane. Tips the ball here, fighting for it. Gets a steal. Ball tied up, possession arrow going to the Cowboys. The floor crew has had their fair share of work tonight.
Well, and they're doing a great job. Yeah, they were in Waco last night and had a tense battle to call there. Kansas at the Baylor Bears.
Baylor really has caught fire. Last 2 national champions coming from the Big 12. Carr draws the foul, trying to work through the screen, a little too much shoulder. That's probably 4 or 5 fouls that we've seen called on screens tonight.
Yeah, and both teams have to be careful not to get into bonus situation too early.
Yeah, foul situation 6 on Oklahoma State.
It just changes the whole game. Texas only 2. Yeah, that's. I said it. The last guy to have the ball there was Mitchell, and we saw the drive. And now you have Rice. I don't think that's who he is either. He's a catch and shoot, catch and show and go. And you put that ball 1 down low, and you try to put yourself in a position to score from there, and your name's Rice. It's just not what he does. Got to move that ball, not let it stick.
Another moving screen. Just too early, Tyreek Smith.
Well, yeah, and now you're in the penalty. And Texas has just done a great job. Smith moving too fast. Texas, I think if I'm Texas, I'm trying to get around the rim, especially with Boone being on the bench. Smith out on the perimeter, you should be able to get a good look if you're Texas.
Best shot blocking team in the Big 12, 9th in the NCAA in blocks per game. Texas been able to get in. Rice trying to create. Tried to go to Dessou, tie up. Possession arrow for Texas. 8-point advantage for the 10th ranked team in the country. 54-46 from the Moody Center when we come back.
Refresh your home with the help of Living.
4:46 back here in Austin. Longhorns Cowboys as this week coaches return to wearing suits on the sidelines. Laced up their sneakers. The Oklahoma State group, they're going with the button-ups and some Air Max 1s. It's an initiative of the American Cancer Society and the NABC Coaches vs. Cancer program. Kind of strange to see coaches out there in suits again.
Well, it is, and I mean, a lot of thought goes into what they're going to wear. Obviously, Coaches vs. Cancer.
Texas missed bucket coming out of the timeout. Avery Anderson continues to be the facilitator. 9 assists, ties his career high, but Texas turns him over there. Morris to the rack, can't finish. Dessou is swatted. Morris keeps it alive, plenty of time, drives to the rack and will shoot free throws.
Shot blocking really was the big story the last time these 2 teams played. As Smith showing you why on that last possession. There were 12 shots blocked by Oklahoma State in the last game. Only 4 here tonight. And you saw it in the first layup. Morris, he wasn't even looking at the basket. He was looking at Smith as he tried to go up and finish. Layup.
4th foul on Avery Anderson, the 3rd, so that could be significant as the leading playmaker for Oklahoma State on the bench right now.
It will be significant. It falls to Michael Wright and Thompson. That's the way I see it. Those guys have to generate the offense. With Anderson on the bench with the fouls.
See the defense for Oklahoma State on the season. Difference to tonight, Texas shooting 47%, 4th in Division I of holding opponents to 37%. Texas has been the better defensive team. It's Dessou there, out to Newton, shot clock at 5. Morris touched it. It'll stay Cowboys' way.
And part of the reason you see those numbers is just because Oklahoma State hasn't had the additional shot blocking with Boone being on the bench. But how about Dessou coming out away from the basket? Texas's rim protector.
Thompson gets space, misses the pull-up. Rice rebounds. Hunter tied up. Foul is called, no jump ball. So another foul, the third on Woody Newton.
What you see there is the big difference in Hunter's production being that he's playing fast in that instance. And I think when things are slowed down, he's gotten caught up in the half court and also not making shots as he was making early in the season. It's just really compounded for him and brought on struggles. I think he's got to play faster, Tyler. He's much better in open floor situations because he can use his athleticism, particularly when you have a team like Oklahoma State that can block shots. Speaking of which, is Boone gets back on the floor.
19 personal fouls on Oklahoma State. Mentioned Anderson with 4, Newton with 3, Boone with 3 as well. So foul trouble an issue with over halfway to go in the second half.
Yeah, it's going to, for Texas, to be a totally different game offensively. And right now, he's not on the floor, but Carr is one of the best in this league at drawing timely fouls, getting to the line, and really being surgical about managing the game through the free throw line.
Allen, Dessou, Morris, Hunter, Cunningham, the 5-4 Texas. Boone, the big finish, along with Wright, Newton, Harris, Thompson, the 5-4 Oklahoma State. Currently, Morris trying to go back the other way, rejected by the rim. Foul will be on Dessou, clearing space. Third on Dessou. Harris Jr. will be the shooter at the line.
For Texas going the other way, this is where on the perimeter, Morris and Hunter need to step up and maintain a level of aggression with Carr being on the bench.
Disjointed, would you say that encapsulates this game thus far?
Well, I think it's been a tale of a few stories. You say disjointed, I think the foul trouble on Boone made a little bit of a different game for Oklahoma State. Hunter not being able to get going and get into a rhythm. Well, I think Oklahoma State, in spite of some of their challenges, has done a good job, really, Tyler, just staying close within striking distance.
Yeah.
They weathered the storms.
Allen pulls up. Good with the jumper, chance to make it and one.
Just a great shot there. Before closeout, you get the post up. Comes right up under him. That's just a dangerous closeout as well.
Largest lead for Texas was 13. It seems like every time Oklahoma State has that little mini momentum play, Texas responds. So Allen, the 64% free throw shooter, converts. Longhorns up 11.
And the question to me is, how long does Coach Boynton leave Anderson on the bench?
Thompson trying to fight through to receive the ball, but the foul was on the floor against Timmy Allen.
Allen tried to blow up the dribble handoff. He knew what was coming, just couldn't get there quick enough. I mean, that's a pretty good guard for Allen, considering, you know, he's guarding a guard in Thompson.
Third on Allen, long pass to right, get it in. Shot clock at 15. Cunningham stripped it initially, up and the foul. Boone with the finish, hard onto the floor, fighting to keep his team in it.
Well, credit Williams there for recognizing this. Watch, he loses the ball. He knows he's got nothing with Bishop. Then, of course, Boone takes the hit and finishes. It's a great play by Williams just to stay with it. He could feel, sense, and knew that Bishop was behind him, so he couldn't finish that at the rim.
Foul's now an issue for the Texas bigs. Christian Bishop with his fourth. Dessou comes back in, but he has 3.
Texas still 2 fouls away from the bonus.
Longhorns in the double bonus themselves as Boone rattles it in for the 3-point play.
Here's a change to the defense. How does Texas respond with pressure?
Getting shouldered up the floor.
Totally unnecessary. That pressure can and should be just some token pressure. Force Texas to perhaps make a poor decision, pass, or travel, speed them up a little bit, but definitely no need to put yourself in a position to foul Texas and put them on the line in that situation. There's nothing that Texas can do 75 feet from the basket, Tyler, in that situation.
Texas 12 of 15 on the night through 19 games. Longhorns tied for the top spot in the Big 12 in team free throw percentage, 74.4 they make in Big 12 play alone. They lead the conference in free throw shooting percentage, 81.7. It's a pretty good mark.
Yeah, they're really good, especially with Rice down the stretch. And earlier this season at Oklahoma, he went in there and made 7 out of 7 free throws to help take the lead and close that game out in Norman. So Texas is really dangerous down the stretch with their free throws. Tyler.
10-point advantage. Dessou slides over, and that may be a big one. Tried to take the charge. Instead, it will be his 4th personal with 9:03 left.
Well, it looked like he got over there. Maybe he didn't get outside of the arc. Whoa. Didn't get over soon enough. Williams did a good job of leaving the floor before Dessou was set. Good job, guys, with the cameras and the angle. Thank you.
Keon Williams to the line. Bang, bang play.
And Bert Smith made the right call, I thought.
So now Texas going to have to go small. Mitchell coming in and playing the de facto center position. Cunningham, Allen, Hunter, and Morris, the other 4 out there. So can Oklahoma State try to take advantage of this? Also, you may mention the press now we've seen from the Cowboys.
Yeah, you see the press, and then you also see Texas's best offensive player, Carr, come back in the game, so that changes things. You've got to identify him. You're Oklahoma State. They stay in the zone here.
I think right now it would seem for Oklahoma State, can you defend without fouling? Shot clock at 7, out to Cunningham, straight on. Wright calls his own number, responds with a 3.
Wright made a huge shot there, continuing to keep the Cowboys hanging around. I gotta believe it. Avery Anderson will be back in this game.
Rhythm 3 for Hunter, fine from Allen. Scoring's picked up last couple minutes. Great find. Cannot finish, but double taps. With the look, eyes in the back of his head, Tyreek Smith.
Well, that was created by Mitchell, who kind of got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Came out as if he was going to dump, but then boom, did the right thing. It's a great pass into the basket.
Allen decides to pull up. Another Manette.
Good defense, just better offense. Both teams in an offensive flow here, pretty much getting anything they want.
So these teams pushing each other back and forth. Longhorns maintaining the advantage at double digits. 71, 67, 14 left here in Austin.
Mike.
71-60 in a rockin' Moody Center in Austin, Texas, 10th ranked. Texas Longhorns looking to stay near the top of the Big 12. Currently tied for second. Oklahoma State looking for another signature win. Longhorns the advantage in field goal percentage. Both teams have made 7 threes. Longhorns, though, Lance, living at the line, 14 made free throws.
Well, you go back and analyze this game, that'll certainly be a point of analysts being getting into the bonus so soon, and now Oklahoma State is there. But also, I think a lot of this game, Tyler, is about where these teams and coaches are. There's a level of desperation that they both play with. Obviously, Oklahoma State now has a little bit of a newfound confidence with the big win against Iowa State. Coach Terry proving that he can get it done at this level, talking about cutting down nets today. So there's a synergy from both of these coaches and teams that emotes a level of desperation in the way they play.
Cunningham on the step through. Mitchell loses the handle. Coach Boynton Jr. had talked to us about every game being its own entity within the league. And you look at the first matchup, it was 56-46. Really a defensive game. This one well surpassed that in terms of scoring. Coach Boynton had said it's really irrelevant how you play the last game. So many different styles. But he said to the first game, felt his team was out tough. Who's been the tougher team tonight is Carr. Fouls the three-point shooter.
Bad fouls. Carr's usually a lot smarter than that. Got a guy that far from the basket, just contest, give space, at least enough now to put him at the line.
So John Michael Wright will shoot. You got an answer for me? Who's been the tougher team?
Did I avoid your answer? I'm trying to
put you on the spot. Thought it was a Frank Point.
The tougher team?
Coach Boynton felt his team was out tough. First matchup.
I think both teams have had their moments, frankly, to be straight up. I thought early Boone was a little soft inside. He amped it up and got some silly fouls, which impacted the game. And I think when they turned it up, particularly on the offensive end, and Oklahoma State started playing fast, Texas was a little slow and not as tough as you call it, matching the energy of Oklahoma State being so desperate to get the pace up, particularly in the first half of the ball game.
Wright makes 2 of the 3. So 71-62, I appreciate your answer.
No problem.
Those were the words of Coach Boynton. He had talked about the toughness, but really how you're going to have to find different ways, different styles to win games, maybe even against the same team. The second matchup, Carr had the space, trying to go to the right side of the rim and just kissed it off the metal, and then foul committed.
Yeah, this is very unlike Carr. Talking about 3 mistakes. He has the foul here. Here's the finish. Just go finish with your left hand. But guess what? The defense coming over, you see him bend down. He got cute, he being Carr, because of the history of block shots by this team. Just go to the backboard and try to finish. And guess what? If they block it, they block it.
Bonus for Oklahoma State, 8th team foul on Texas, so not double bonus yet. Asbury makes the first. 80% free throw shooter on the season to earn himself a second.
Now, you talked about tough. I mean, part of the question of toughness is trying to define it. And I define it beyond the way you play. It's a level of resilience.
Yeah, so many toughnesses: physical toughness, mental toughness.
Correct.
Big possession, both teams here. Texas trying to find a quality look. Oklahoma State looking for a stop. Card, step back.
Yeah, that's a point of emphasis this year. Referee Tony Padilla is going, and he's going to get the free throw for the flop. The flop call. It's the call. Watch Carr fall here. This fall, and I'm sure Texas, or he's arguing that Asbury was in his space. I don't know if we'll get to see this again.
Landing
but
zone.
It's not a fair, it is a fair argument. Watch Asbury take up the space there. I don't know if Carr could have come down on both feet.
And Carr's having the conversation, trying to get some clarification there, but a flop violation on Marcus Carr.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that at all.
Cunningham strips the ball from Boone. Allen with the rebound. Things have turned up a little bit. Hunter finds Cunningham running the floor.
Might remember me earlier talking about Hunter being better when they play fast. That's an example, even though it was assist, great throw ahead.
Corner three is good. John Michael Wright keeps his team within striking distance, 75-67, 5:18 left in regulation.
Horn Network is presented by Bud Light. It's for the fans.
Texas 75-67 to Oklahoma State. Brock Cunningham, 10 points in this game. 2 made threes, 3 rebounds, and assists. The recipient of the Hunter assist, doing it for the Texas bench.
Well, and it's not only the threes made, it's the timeliness of them. I mean, he shoots up around 40% from there. But where Brock has excelled this year for these long horns, Tyler, is the timeliness of what he does. Not only obviously offensively, but also defensively with his ball club.
Texas 18 from Carr, their scoring leader, but this is the Longhorns group. 27.9 bench points per game. That leads the Big 12. It's 24th in the NCAA, and Coach Rodney Carey had talked to us about the connectedness, why the bench is so good. He said they're really connected to the unit on the floor. Guys on the bench celebrating the success of the guys that are playing, and it makes it easy for them to get into the flow of the game when their number's called.
Well, and strangely enough, tonight, the spread has not been as egregious as it often is, with Texas getting major points from the benches. 22 against 19.
Rice trying to get his own shot. It's blocked and sent back. Ball trickling around, will be a foul, so Texas will head to the line.
Tyler, I want to build off that point that you were making, that Coach talked about with his players. This foul here.
Anderson was brought in after the timeout, and that's the 5th for Avery Anderson, the 3rd, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, the leading playmaker, had a career high in assists in this game. Only 6 points, but Cowboys will have to do it the rest of the way without one of their leaders, as Rice will shoot free throws. Back to the point you were making.
Yeah, and I want to build off of that just a hair here as Anderson goes to the bench. He's got to know that, especially down the stretch. You're in foul trouble, got 4 fouls. You have to do things that will keep you on the floor. You certainly want to play hard, but Got to know that. And sometimes that's the next level for guys. Obviously, there's the physical part of what you do in the game and how many points you score and the impact. But if you want to win and help your team win, you've got to know how to stay on the floor. That's key.
Texas a perfect 12 of 12, a dozen free throws made in the second half. Hunter in the passing lane, PBU.
And Texas playing extremely aggressively on the perimeter. Rice denied the entry pass on the other wing. You see it here, a lot of denial by Texas. Can you use that aggression if you're Oklahoma State to get an opportunity to drive to the basket? The floor should be open if the wings are being pressured as much as it seems they are right now.
Right, trying to be the playmaker for the Cowboys, misses the close layup, so Texas gets a stop. 4:27 left in regulation with Texas up 10, the 10th ranked team in the country. Cunningham, perfect from three, 3 for 3.
Hunter did a great job of working off of Cunningham for that three.
Harris Jr. misses.
And that three is now sped Oklahoma State up because they are running out of opportunities. Texas goes right back to the same action.
10 on the shot clock. Longhorns will have to go. Sir'Jabari Rice pulls up.
Smart play by Allen. He knew it was a late shot clock and would have rathered his teammate, rightfully so, take that three.
Cunningham has tied a career high with his 13 points. Corner three is off as Cunningham tips the rebound to Carr. Second meeting of the season between these two. Allen turnaround. And the landing zone will be called there. Timmy Allen will shoot free throws. Texas has been great at the strike. Up 13 with 2:53 left.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want...
Take a look at our play of the game presented by the official beer sponsor of the Texas Longhorns. Bud Light play of the game. Brock Cunningham, perfect 3 for 3. This is third made three.
Well, Mr. Timely, Texas needed this basket to keep that separation. Just become so good at making the right play at the right time. 13 points, 5. That's efficient. I mean, you don't get much more efficient than that. And what's not on that graphic are the defensive plays that he's made tonight. He's often guarding people much bigger than him, gives up size. A lot of people call him the glue guy. I don't agree with that. I think he is Mr. Disruptor because he disrupts things on both ends of the floor. He even does it offensively with his shot-making ability.
1 block, 1 steal is Allen shooting the 2 free throws. Yeah, teams track it and advanced analytics will show you, but fouls drawn, balls tipped, all those different things that don't go and are hard to quantify in the box score for us, but teams know it and they know what they get. I like the term, the disruptor.
Yeah, and the other, thank you, pal, the other thing is quantify them with W's.
Yeah.
That's your analytics.
If you want to have a winning team, you need to have a winning culture and winning players, and Cunningham has definitely shown himself to be that. And that's what the story is for Texas. I think you look at the landscape of the Big 12, it's now starting to separate a little bit. That was the term that Coach Terry used as February's right around the corner, March right after that, obviously. But the separation that you see, Texas, were they to hold on here, go to 6-2, try to keep pace in a Big 12 that every win is at a premium.
Well, and there aren't many coaches in this conference really that have more experience than Coach Terry of knowing this conference and how it works. So
Cunningham got out of the double team.
Yeah, he split the double team, which is a no-no. It really breaks things down. Perhaps another dribble or two. He had come out of there a little more aggressive.
20 seconds on the shot clock.
Offense.
Fans wanted it.
I think the roof with it. Speaking of the fans, they've been great for Texas. Another sellout.
Texas has had a definitive home court advantage.
Yes, they have.
This season. Right, pull-up rhythm three is off. Cunningham with the rebound.
Of course, Cunningham gets it.
You talk Big 12, Big 12, Big 12, but an interesting wrinkle scheduling-wise, all these teams will take a break, and probably a much-needed break from the Big 12 to play in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. And it will be a very, I would assume, emotional. Tried to ask Coach Terry about it. But to get back together, Texas plays Tennessee at Tennessee this weekend as part of that Big 12 SEC Challenge.
Yeah, and Coach Terry gave the right answer. And I believe he's being accurate in there. We see
getting together with a familiar face that, as Texas fans were accustomed to, Rick Barnes and his team's always so good at playing defense. This adjusted defensive efficiency, Tennessee the best team in the country. Texas obviously playing Oklahoma State here for a second time, but across this last 4 games, came against Iowa State, one of the best defensive teams in the country. Oklahoma State, one of the best defensive teams. They will see the best defensive team in the country against Tennessee.
Yeah, and talk about defense. How about the steal by Carr? As Oklahoma State loses a little focus on the inbound pass. But yeah, you saw on the graphic that defense, Coach Barnes, that's just such a staple. And obviously, Coach Terry has been influenced by that at some level. So it will be quite emotional for both of them.
Boone with the finish. And you see Coach Terry still absolutely on it. I love the point that he made is you see this the full schedule for the SEC Big 12 Challenge across the ESPN family of networks. Some really good matchups. Alabama, a lot of projections have them as a 1-seed. Oklahoma, tournament aspirations. Arkansas, that has been really good, taking on a Baylor team that's as hot as any in the country. Kansas, Kentucky, I mean, come on.
That's the one I'm really going to be interested in, the Kansas, Kentucky. And those are 2 teams that are extremely desperate.
A jam-packed Saturday. You see the remainder of the matchups. Kansas State trying to secure a victory today against Iowa State. Iowa State looking to keep pace as well. That's a tight ball game. I want to go back to the point that Coach Terry had made. Talked about the transition. He now well into 9-2 as the interim head coach. And he had said, I have to make a better point of my physical health now that there are different things asked of me in this acting head coach position, but making sure, he said, I need to get upper body, lower body workout.
Well, he does have to take care of himself because of the pressure that's on these coaches, not only Coach Terry, but all of them. The expectations often are unrealistic because, I mean, by the numbers in math, 50% of these teams in the conference are going to lose every single night. And so you're walking a tightrope and trying to win every single game. And so sometimes your personal health, life, and family, and otherwise can get lost in your attempt to get victories. And sometimes, believe it or not, Tyler, just being around it essentially all of my life, sometimes less is more. I mean, you're watching a lot of film and sometimes just get caught in a loop that impacts your health in negative ways, which has collateral effect on the people around you, including the players in the team.
And I think to that point, you talk about staying present. I wanted to ask Coach Terry from our perspective as media about that Tennessee matchup, but he said, I'm staying present, I'm staying focused. And the bigger conversation for Coach Terry. Present is focused. Talk about the future. What does next year look like? What does the future look like for Coach Terry? What they can do is make their case. Go out there, and he praised this veteran group. What they've done, mentioned 9-2, the record. Texas 9th in the latest net ranking, 6th in the BPI. They've been in the top 10 throughout. This team making a really strong statement.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because what Coach Terry has done is he's shown and proven that he is a top-level coach for a program. Now he's got to prove that he can win. And, you know, it's not easy when you see that schedule there to the left of your screen. I mean, those are all losable and or winnable games. And so, and really, the final evaluation will come at the end of the season. You can run the table and slip up in March, and it can be a very disappointing season.
Texas breaking the press. Yeah, you look across that next schedule of games, the next 5 games for Texas, then you're talking, hey, a 4-1 in that stretch, a perfect 5-0 would be amazing. You're talking 1 seed, you're talking Big 12 championship. You tried to pin him down on a number, because we had talked with Coach Boynton about that for their NCAA resume, usually 500, so 9-9 has you looking pretty good. And what you'd heard from Coach Terry as Carr goes to the free throw line was, hey, 13-14 wins. If you have aspirations to win the Big 12, that number, 4 losses, you don't want to dip beneath that.
And the coaches have different situations. I mean, Coach Terry has taken over a program that obviously was having problems off the court, coaching change, and now he's trying to prove himself, and he's crisis management and player and all that. So his situation is very different than Coach Boynton, who is coming off of a penalty from the big wigs and being very frustrated about that, not getting a chance to go to the tournament. So he's trying to get his team back fully engaged and playing into March, simply because last year they couldn't by rule, or ruling, I should say.
So where it goes from here for both of these teams.
10 seconds.
Coach Terry having to be brought back.
Coach Terry thinks the ball was caught and dribbled before.
Coach Donald coming over to Hell. I say, hey, Coach, we got to get you a little bit off the floor. But this collective unit for Texas, the coaching staff, we've chronicled the years of experience that they have, but how they've come together as a group to pick one another up as well.
Yeah, and all of them, really, the staff has been head coaches.
Texas forcing another turnover. We came on top of the show, strength on strength. Texas, one of the best offensive teams, leading the Big 12 in scoring offense, 80.1 points per game. They are past that. That's 12th in the NCAA. Oklahoma State leading the Big 12 as one of the best defensive teams, strength on strength. Texas won out tonight.
Yeah, and I think the foul trouble earlier in the game, or early in the game on Boone, is what changed that, defensively at least, for Oklahoma State. And I love the conversation today when we asked Coach Terry, trying to pin him down again. As you see the numbers proving this out, he said, you know, how do you want to win this game? And he said, we want to push the pace. And so that aggression is showing up in the numbers. He got 87 points in a Big 12 game. It's pretty impressive for this Texas ball club.
Yeah, and a great test upcoming. Mentioned Texas going up against the 8th best efficiency-wise defense in this game. They get to play the best on Saturday. And I love the wrinkle, because you're in just a bar fight of a conference season that you get to take a little breather. And it's very fun for all of us to watch that SEC Big 12 Challenge and those storylines, specifically the one for Texas going against Tennessee.
And Coach Barnes, you can be sure, as they lost a tough one really at the buzzer last year here, they will be ready for these Longhorns going into Tennessee.
Oklahoma State gets Ole Miss. They're part of the Big 12 SEC Challenge. This is the second time these two teams have met, but Texas still has 2 meetings against Kansas, 2 against Baylor, another matchup against Kansas State. Allen pull-up jumper. Good night for Timmy Allen, that 17 points. Carr with 21, Cunningham with 15. Texas showing their balance.
Both teams certainly playing this one out to the very end. And leaving it all on the floor.
So Texas potential here as they will move to 6-2 if Kansas State were to lose. Could be tied atop the Big 12. Iowa State currently up 2 as the shot clock allowed to violate for Texas. Oklahoma State will dribble it out.
Well, I can tell you, just being around this team and watching them, Tyler, they have the look of a team that is focused, purposeful in what they're doing, and they have a mission, a goal. And Coach Terry said it today. He said, we want to cut some nets down this season. I'm impressed. Great victory against a team that was starting to heat up in Oklahoma State.
As if it wasn't for real already, the next 4 games against top 25 opponents. Texas, their best 19 game starts are coming in to tonight since the 2010-2011 group. But you had talked about the vision. Coach Terry had talked about cutting down nets. He wants his players to visualize success in March. Texas continuing to plant the seeds with another victory, 17-3 now.
Well, it feels good, and the thing about it for Texas is they've got to enjoy tonight and then get ready to go into Tennessee and battle again, because things can change quickly, and Coach Terry knows it. This still can get quite fragile, but right now, as I see it, they are sitting on a solid foundation, and they've come together in a way that you wouldn't have expected under the circumstances.
So Texas will hit the road Saturday at Tennessee on ESPN, part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Longhorns move to 17-3 on the season, could be potentially tied atop the Big 12 at the end of the night, paced by their leader, Marcus Carr, with 21 points. For Lance Blanks, best of our LHN crew, Tyler Denning, good night from Austin, Texas. 10th ranked Longhorns victorious, 89-75.
Did not return.